Welcome to Integrative Nurse Coaches in Action, the podcast where nurses, healthcare professionals, and consumers come to hear from inspirational nurse leaders in health and wellness coaching. We cover the latest innovations, ideas, and breakthroughs from nurses who are shifting the paradigm of disease care to health care through the art and science of nurse coaching. Diving into entrepreneurship as an integrative nurse coach can be riddled with tons of vulnerability and resistance. Learning to show up for yourself is a sign of courage, and recognizing you have so much to offer is gold. Christie L. Kaywood speaks to the resistance and vulnerability of showing up as a new entrepreneur and how asking for help opened up more opportunities for her to expand professionally and heal personally. Plus, she speaks to many other pearls of wisdom, from Reiki, crystals, and essential oils, to recognize that asking for help connected her with others just like her for the support she needed to move forward in action. Now, go out into the world and shine, because patients, communities, and people are looking for someone just like you. Before we get to today's podcast, let's take 3 deep breaths in and out together. 1, 2, 3. Now, we're ready. Christie L. Kaywood is the owner of Christie L Holistic Healing Center, a community where wellness goals are achieved and like-minded individuals come together. Christie is from New Orleans, Louisiana, on the West Bank side of town. She grew up in Algiers and now resides in Jefferson Parish. Christie's been an RN for over 10 years and a nurse coach for almost 2 years. She has a passion for helping others succeed. One of her dreams is to have a healing wellness retreat center, or centers. She's launched her wellness community on the Mighty Network platform. It's called Dream Life Virtual Wellness Center. She loves enjoying time with her loved ones, pets, nature, and dancing. She most enjoys coaching her clients in areas of burnout, diabetes, and cardiac illnesses like high blood pressure, cholesterol, and other cardiac-related illnesses. She's an intuitive healer, Reiki practitioner, and wellness life coach. Welcome, everyone, to the Integrative Nurse Coaches in Action podcast. My name is Nicole Viano. I am your host, and I'm also a board-certified integrative nurse coach. And today, we are welcoming a guest that I have been following on social media and seeing her stepping outside her comfort levels and just creating space for people. And she's all the way from the greater New Orleans area, place called Gretna on the West Bank. And she is doing a wonderful job focusing on creating a community where wellness goals are achieved and like-minded individuals come together. She's launched her own wellness community. I know we're going to hear about that. And she's just going to be full of wisdom as we come together here on the Integrative Nurse Coaches in Action podcast. So I welcome Christie L. Kaywood.
Hi, Nicole. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you, Christie, for spending some time with us. Yes, we're going to enjoy hearing your story. And of course, we love to go down history lane. We love to know what brought you into nursing.
Well, I would say, of course, as all of us nurses say, we want to help people. When I was young, I was sort of like a tomboy, always rough playing outside with the boys, getting hurt, running outside barefoot, cutting my feet with glass from being barefoot. And I don't know, for some reason, I was fascinated with wounds. And I just always wanted to help people when they were not feeling well. Somehow, as a child, I just knew all these natural remedies. Growing up, like my parents, they had 10 children. And of course, finances were an issue sometimes. So we didn't always go to the doctor for every little thing. We didn't always have medication to treat all, illnesses. If you had a fever, anything like that. So you kind of just had taken a tepid bath or stay hydrated, lay down and just cool yourself off. Like if one of my siblings might have cut their feet or kind of scraped their knee, then I would be like, "Ooh, let me look at it." I was just fascinated with just health and well-being and just that whole aspect of just wellness. And I just had a passion. I've always had a passion just for caring for others.
I'm imagining you as a little girl being a tomboy and running around and seeing somebody who cut themselves and being so fascinated with that wound. How can I help? How can I fix that? Oh, that's so cool. And then so when you realized you wanted to be a nurse, what happened there?
Well, actually, so in high school, I guess I would say like many other teenagers, I was like, you think you're an adult. You just want to have fun, even though it's school, you have to do your work, but you just want to have fun. And by my family, being in the lower bracket of finances, I would just say poor, not middle class, definitely. I realized that I I needed to think about my future. I needed to like get serious about my education. It's not that I wasn't serious, but it wasn't like I was striving for all A's and B's. So in ninth grade, I was like, I started looking up like what colleges were looking for and different things like that. And I noticed like for ACT, you had to have a certain score. For college, most colleges, you had to have a certain GPA, different things like that. And I just started looking up nursing programs and I just said, like, it's ninth grade. Most people, they look at ninth through 12, all of that other stuff, it's in the past. And I just said, I need to get serious. I want to do this. I want to go to nursing school. And I kind of just went forward from there.
I love this story of a resourceful young woman realizing that she had a dream and that she would like to go to nursing school and figuring that out in ninth grade and then making steps and taking steps to be able to achieve the grades necessary to get into nursing school.
Yeah. And I went to Dillard University. It's in New Orleans as well. And in high school, I also did cross country and track and field. And one of the runners who ran the year before, the coach had to do something with her where we end up like the coach would bring us home after practice. So we just end up stopping at Dillard for some reason. He had to do something. And I was just fascinated with the campus. Like it was so beautiful. It's like an all white campus and they have the oak trees and everything. Just, it was really beautiful. And I found out that they had nursing and that was one of my options. And my other option was LSU. So I ended up going to Dillard. Both are really great schools. And I mean, I don't regret my decision at all.
So then as you achieved your nursing education and completed that, then where did that take you?
Well, after I passed my NCLEX, I got a job like the next month. So I got a job at Ochsner Health System as a telemetry nurse. Maybe because it was my first experience, I actually really love telemetry, cardiology. I love that area of healthcare first. And then after that, I would say like med surge, really kind of related to any cardiac issues and diabetes. So I do have a passion for educating my clients in those areas, as well as mental health related to anxiety and depression and burnout and compassion fatigue. Most of my career, I've did telemetry. I've done surgical ICU. I've tried just about everything. Home health, case management, school nursing. And like I'm just going all around and telling people I'm trying to find my niche. I'm trying to find my niche. So it's like you've just about done everything, so you still can't find it. Yeah. So I began to look just like, it's like, I love this. I love helping people, but it's like something was missing. I didn't begin to dislike nursing. I just felt, in addition to something missing, it's just like, I'm not getting the fulfillment either. I want more time with my patients to be able to educate them, to get to know them, and to basically be a better advocate and resource for them. Also, seeing over and over, admitting patients, discharging patients, seeing the same people come back over and over. People resist being told what to do, and it kind of just drew me on a search where I just started looking up like careers where you can, help people and help people reach goals and different things like that. I didn't find nurse coaching first. I found like health and wellness coach, life coach. All of these programs would pop up on like my Facebook feed or different things like that. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll check that out. Well, I've been a nurse for a little over 10 years, and I've definitely experienced burnout. I would even say compassion fatigue. And I'm more than sure countless others, especially like through COVID and just being in the healthcare industry itself, have possibly experienced it or having pre-symptoms of dealing with it. Some, may not even recognize. I didn't recognize it initially.
Right. I really feel that many nurses are in this same or experiencing the same things that you felt, like a loss of fulfillment of what they were doing and how they were feeling at work, and wanting to be better advocates and resources for and spend more time with patients, and really recognizing that the systems that they're working in may not be supporting them in the best ways that they wanted to perform their nursing practice. And then in addition, seeing that effect on the patients, with seeing many patients returning and having to come back in again, and you recognizing that, well, yeah, patients don't want to be told, people don't want to be told what they need to do and how they need to do it. And so then you started looking for something like, how can I help myself find fulfillment as a nurse, and then also be, I guess, and for lack of a better word choice, but be better at being a nurse. And so then you
Yeah.
discovered health coaching and life coaching, some courses, and then so tell us where that led you next.
So I kept searching for, different programs, looking at comparing the different prices and things like that. And I was actually at a point where I felt like I didn't even need my nursing license anymore because I was going to be a life coach or a health coach, and they didn't need any degrees or anything like that. It was coming up on the time where I had to renew my license. And I literally was like, should I do it or should I not do it? And I mean, ultimately, I did. I stumbled upon INCA, so the Integrative Nurse Coach Academy. And when I found it, it was like, wow, like this is a program and it's specifically for nurses. So I was like really fascinated, excited. Normally, I'm not one to pay a lot for things, but I said, wow, like for me to find this, like this, I have to do this. It was like law of attraction. I just said, well, all I can do is try. So I renewed my nursing license and I signed up for the program.
Woo! Yes. So you signed up for the program. I actually want to back up because I didn't acknowledge the parts that you had mentioned about experiencing kind of like a burnout.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and feeling that and noticing, that your colleagues were experiencing that too.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to touch back on that again and just pulling some of your experiences from that piece out as well.
Yeah. Well, I guess being a new nurse and I was excited. I wanted, of course, to be a great nurse and just do all I could to help others. So I would take care of my patients. And of course, some facilities, as such where I worked, call bells are always going off, phones always ringing. Someone's at the nurse station asking for ice, and you're just running around all day until it's time to go home. I guess I would say that I definitely was a people pleaser and I wanted to help in every way I could. So just being overwhelmed at work over time for just keep giving and giving and giving, and also self-care deficit, not taking care of myself as I should have. And sometimes the stressors of home life. So it's just a bunch of stress all over my life. And eventually it took a toll on me and I would say affected my work life because I was just tired, low energy. I kind of got some depression. And I mean, with all of that going on, I did seek help. So I did seek help of a therapist. And I've done that maybe for a few years. And it really helped me out tremendously. That's how I've even really found out like burnout and not just healthcare workers, first responders. It could be anyone actually, but those careers seem to endure it more than others. Yeah, so that is a part of the reason why I have that passion as well to help the working professional who might be experiencing burnout or compassion fatigue, or I would explain the symptoms in case they don't recognize it as that.
Right. Yeah, a lot
Mhm.
of people don't even realize, and you mentioned that too, maybe didn't even realize, and you had never really known about it. I remember, 10, 12 years ago when I too was experiencing apathy and a little bit of anxiety, not a little bit, anxiety before I would go into work. I would think about work days before I would even go there. Yeah, and just loss of patience with myself, with my family at home, with my colleagues. And, just really feeling of like, yeah, whatever. Like, yeah, I'll get that done. And a little bit apathetic about it. And feelings that really weren't normal for me before.
Yeah.
And they all of a sudden creeped in. And I didn't know what burnout was at the time either. And it sounds like you also didn't know that until you realized something is wrong. I need some help. And you used your strengths of asking, finding resources for yourself is a huge strength of yours to say, I need
Yeah.
help, and finding a therapist to work with.
Yeah. I would say when you start on that journey for whether healing, wellness, whatever you want to call it, it's definitely not easy because it holds you accountable and you start to look at basically your life holistically. And you're like, you may not be as healthy or as well as you thought you were. And it's a shock sometimes. And I would say you just have to be patient with yourself and don't compare yourself to others and just take the time you need for your healing and your wellness so that you can come back and be there for others. And whatever avenue you decide, like I decided, so that you can find fulfillment. And this nurse coaching is definitely fulfilling. It's like a breath of fresh air. It's the business aspect, of course, nothing is perfect. So, yes, you have your troubleshooting, but it's totally different from like consulting, giving them the steps to do to reach their goal versus you helping them find out what will work for them. It's great to not have all the answers.
Yes. It is great to not have to have all the answers. Unlike when we're at the bedside and we are, demanded to have some of the answers sometimes. And we always sometimes don't have the answers, and yet we were still expected to sometimes. So I'm hearing there's a sense of freedom, some freedom involved in moving into this new role as a nurse coach, incorporating your skills that you learned all along, of course, in life and as a nurse, and now stepping into the role of nurse coaching. So you mentioned some troubleshooting in business. I'm curious to know what's one thing that you're working on right now that maybe is a troubleshooting type of action that you're taking.
I'm a part of the African American Small Business Thrive Initiative and a part of the Urban League where we do roundtables once a month. We basically open ourselves and our business up to vulnerability and with other business owners. And it kind of lets you see that you're not alone. Like we're all having a lot of the same issues, whether it's time management, closing on clients, finding clients, marketing. Like we'll go around and we'll all say what our challenges are. And at the end, we rate them like priority one or two. And we see like half the room has the same issue. And it kind of encourages you, to not give up. You have support, things like that. So the time management for me is something I'm working on currently, as well as getting more clients. I am starting a membership package and I'm very interested in doing a corporate package. So that is something that I'm working on. My challenge, in which I receive help on, because if I struggle in that area, I'm definitely going to get help. And that's like with the financial resources and financial tracking, keeping up with all of that, bookkeeping, and the marketing. So getting help in that area has been a big help for me.
I'm hearing a theme here too. It's that of vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, just first of all, kudos to you for getting involved in your community, right? To do these the Business Thrive Initiative, Urban League roundtables, and showing up there to expose yourself in essence and share your challenges and then open yourself up to some feedback. And I also heard that, when you were in your youth, and saying, okay, I need to get my grades up. I need, because I'm seeing this going forward, what I would need to do. But you're showing up in vulnerability. And, when you were going through some of these things with burnout and asking for help and showing up in vulnerability to have someone help you. And I think some of our holdbacks and some of our own barriers are that we don't ask for help because we are used to really practicing as nurses, practicing very autonomously and feeling like we did have to have all of the answers, which we touched on as well. So we find it difficult to ask for help. And so I'm curious to know how it is that you're able to ask for help and feel comfortable and confident. What are some things that you do to help yourself in that way?
So I would say me being very shy, I've always been shy and quiet and soft spoken, which are qualities that I love and admire now. I used to say, like, why am I so quiet and everyone else is having all these conversations so easily? And it was hard for me. Like, I had social anxiety to more so just get there. Once I'm there, I was fine. But just the thought of getting there and going and being around all those people, it was frightening for me. And I don't remember all of the details, but I did come to realize that I'm definitely an empath. And that, along with being shy, was the challenge. So over time, I would just say to myself, remember this event, like you had fun there. You were there, you had fun, you were socializing. If you want to go, go. If you don't. That helped me sort of with the vulnerability. My therapist definitely helped me because I was not one like to speak up well for myself, have confidence or courage. And I think over time, healing and different things like that helped me. And also with the vulnerability, it's like, these are my goals. And how can I achieve them if I just stay in the same place? How can I achieve them if I don't step up and step out of my comfort zone?
And now, a word from our sponsor. The Integrative Nurse Coach Academy offers nurses innovative approaches to re-energize and expand your nursing practice with new skills and tools that focus on lifestyle health and well-being. As an integrative nurse coach, you will confidently promote wellness and resiliency by guiding your clients, patients, and communities to deepen their connections to inner healing resources and expand their capacities to make meaningful choices for healthy lifestyle change. Plus, you'll learn critical self-care tools to actively take care of your own health and well-being on the journey. Join the global Integrative Nurse Coach Academy community and rediscover your passion for nursing in the online Integrative Nurse Coach Certificate Program. Learn more about our programs at inursecoach.com. And when you register for the Integrative Nurse Coach Certificate Program, be sure to use the code ACTION to get $100 off the Part 1 and 2 bundle. Now, back to the podcast.
How can I achieve them if I just stay in the same place? How can I achieve them if I don't step up and step out of my comfort zone?
I think it's Brené Brown. She says that vulnerability is courage. I love how that, we worked together to get you on this podcast too, right?
Yeah.
Right. And here you are, you're showing up again.
Yeah. So that is actually another thing, the resistance. Resistance, the vulnerability, and accountability. Those are things that I believe it will be not a lifelong challenge, but a lifelong journey, because of course I know I'll be constantly evolving and moving to higher states of consciousness. And these are things that I would love to work with my clients on, whether it be related to obesity, their disease, their mental health, different things like that. Basically, from the things I endured and the struggling that I endured. So, by me being able to resonate with them and the things they're going through, I feel that that would be a great help for them and help me listen actively and to be able to help them and see what they need.
Absolutely. Taking time for yourself to work through some of the things that you found weren't serving you and then enhancing yourself. I mean, I think of myself and how many things I've worked on for myself too, in order for me to be able to show up for my coaching clients and the lessons we learn because of those hard situations and struggles that we've had in our own lives and how we've faced those and how we've worked through them and the lessons that we've learned from them.
Yeah.
I like how you brought up the higher states of consciousness. And I know that you are a Reiki practitioner and you do some intuitive work as well. So would you like to share anything from that world to just help us understand your work a little bit more?
Yeah. So before I found nurse coaching, I found the program. It was the Holistic Arts Institute, and that was part of my journey of finding something else. I found the program, and they had all sorts of things like nutritionist, energy healer, Reiki master, herbalist, master herbalist, different things like that. And that was the area I was interested in. the healing arts, different things like that. And I still have a passion for those things. Definitely like the natural herbal supplements, because I know those things could also contribute to the healing for myself as well as clients and others. So initially I chose the Reiki, the energy healing. I was energy. Like I just was fascinated with that and learning about the chakras and seeing the, if you had a deficit, or if your root chakra was, if you were doing okay, or if you were stagnant, and those were some things you needed to work on. So I did offer services. It was prior to COVID, where I did some Reiki, and I also participated in a Reiki share in the community. And that was very interesting. And I really did enjoy being a part of the Reiki share. I had that preference over just doing individual Reiki on others. I still do that for myself. I do teach people about it. It hasn't been the priority. It does help me out a lot. Like, I would definitely recommend self Reiki for others.
Yes.
Also, as far as like the intuitive side, when I was in therapy, I would have I would call it dark moments where, like, if you were finding or realizing, having an epiphany moment during the therapy session, and you're kind of just like still, and you feel like you're frozen or shocked, or just like, it's just hitting you like reality, I guess. Sometimes I would see like a grayness of cloud smoke, like just build up in the room, kind of. Not very big, I would say. And I just like Googled that one day, and I was like, what is that? Somehow I stumbled on like auras, learning about auras and different things like that, inner and outer aspects. And they teach you how to do your self-assessment or an aura assessment on others. And for me, I know obviously like you have to be still for some time, at least 10-15 minutes. And that is a ability I have been blessed with, but I have not utilized it. And that is something that I would probably look more into in the future. But yeah, that's what I would sort of say like my Reiki journey and the energy healing aspect.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you on self Reiki for sure. I was speaking with another nurse coach who's actually been on the podcast. She lives in Alaska, Jody. Jody, she's been on our podcast, and she and I were talking one day, and she was talking about Reiki. This is before I knew, before I took any trainings, before I took anything. And she was saying, hey, I feel that Reiki is important for every nurse to know because it
Yeah.
can protect and help yourself, from all of the, just bringing in good energies for yourself. And I was like, oh, I didn't know anything about that. So that got me down that rabbit hole too, of like, let's explore
Yeah.
different things where I can learn some tools to help myself. And
Yeah.
Reiki is definitely one of those tools where I give myself Reiki. And then I also utilize it within my coaching sessions as well. Not every session, but if that comes up, it's an offering that I have that I can use and also help others understand that energy, and that we are all energy, and that
Yeah.
there's so much energy on this earth and universe.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't promote it, but I consider myself an energy healer,
Mm.
light worker. And aside from like the Reiki, other things that for me that I've enjoyed are crystals and essential oils. Like, I love those.
Mm.
Yeah. So like with the crystals, they have different energies and they help you in different areas. And the oils, like just the inhaling the different scents It can change the energy. It can help you be calm. It can help you be happy. It can help you be more focused. So that changes the energy aspect sometimes as well. In myself, hopefully, as a nurse coach, the energy that I bring to my client, if they're feeling resistance with the ambivalence, I can be empowering, uplifting, positive. So that's all energy.
So true. Yes, that is all energy. Our emotions are energy. We are energy.
Mm-hmm.
Energy is all around us.
Yeah.
I love this. I love this. So I would also love to know, and I know our listeners would also love to know. So you talked earlier about, challenges for nurses, challenges nurses are experiencing, and also like everyday people challenges. And so tell us a little bit more about that, about some of your work with nurses, some of your work with just everyday people and the challenges they experience in their lives.
I feel everyone can benefit from mental wellness. A lot of times, like one may be in denial or one may not be aware. One can numb down the feelings that they have and show up as if everything's okay. Not seek help because everything's okay and nothing is wrong. With my clients, I help them move past the resistance, and I hope that I hold them accountable. This is something that you want for your life. You want better. We have to get past the resistance, and it's in your hands. You are ultimately responsible for the decisions you make. If you want to reach these goals, then there are things you have to do actively. I'll help you find what those things are. Other challenges is just making time. Life, everyone, we're so busy making time for work, home, kids, friends, family, vacation, rest, self-care, social media. It's like so much. Everyone, we have so much going on. Life's ups and downs, tragedy. Like, I feel we are more alike than we are different. We basically endure the same issues. Some are more connected, like, of course, like breast cancer survivors or people who had heart surgery, or if someone is experiencing something you went through, because they know that you truly understand because you went through it. If your dad passed away or your mom gave you up when you were young, then you'll gravitate more towards that person, and maybe you feel they could help you more. Like I always say to my partner, I'll say, there are so many like weight loss trainers and challenges. And by me, that is something that I have struggled with. And I'm moving in the right direction currently and very happy and excited about that. I was diagnosed with diabetes about a year ago. I believe my A1C was like 1 point above normal, and now it's back under normal. So I'm continuing to work on that as far as my journey. But I used to tell my partner that I don't want to follow or get advice from someone on losing weight and they have not been overweight. Because a lot of the people who are trainers or who start programs, they are already fit. So in my eyes, it's like they don't understand my struggle. They just eat this, just do this workout. But ultimately, they're right. Diet and exercise is very important, and it is all the difference. However, you have other challenges that you need to work through. Yeah, so I do believe finding someone or working with someone as a coach or as a guide or a consultant, it does help choosing someone that is specific to your needs.
Yeah, I think that definitely builds trust.
Yeah.
when they have experienced something similar. I mean, they can't experience the same, but they will have a greater understanding and empathy, deeper empathy for the needs of that person if they've gone through something similar themselves.
Yeah.
All nurse coaches out there, we definitely are understanding of that as well. That not one size fits everybody.
Yeah.
So, Christie, in our last few moments together, we love to ask the question, what is on your heart that you would like to share with our listeners today?
Well, I would say if you are thinking of being a nurse coach or just finding out more about it, and how you can help your patients and just the many, many different things you can do as a nurse coach, definitely check out the Integrative Nurse Coach Academy. There is also a wealth of other programs to look at if maybe you're not interested in the nurse coaching, but there's so many other great programs. I would say even if you're a nurse or not and you're listening, try out a coaching session with a nurse coach. Find maybe someone who has free offerings, which I do. But find someone who has free offerings who works with individuals like yourself and the things that you are seeking personally. For me, I offer a free coaching session, 1 hour session, and to see if we're a good fit for each other and see if I'm able to be a support for you on reaching your goals. Just continue on this journey. Everyone is in this together. One day, one step at a time is very important. And just what made a difference for me was my morning routine, just waking up, being grateful for waking up, and just saying one or two things I'm grateful for. And not just in my life. When I go to work, I say one or two things I'm grateful for related to the business or the job as well, because some days you might want to throw in the towel. Some days you might want to quit. So just try to focus on the positive aspect while working on things you aren't happy with.
Thank you so much for that. I love that. Waking up with a new perspective and being thankful and grateful. Mm. Okay, now we're going to switch gears and just ask a few quick questions and see what comes up. Okay, so you can't think too hard. Okay, Christy?
Okay.
Okay. Lavender or eucalyptus?
Lavender.
Ooh, tell us why lavender.
It's just like I love air, breath of fresh air. I love outdoors and nature, and it gives the ambience of that and just very relaxing.
I would have difficulty picking which one too, but I like lavender too. Okay, now crystals. I just picked two that off the top of my head. Amethyst or rose quartz?
I would say amethyst.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely for the intuitive abilities. It's really beautiful as well. Both are.
Nice. I love that. Okay. And so the Integrative Nurse Coaches in Action podcast, the action of our title of our podcast stands for a few things. So the A stands for authentic, curious, truthful, inspiring, open, nurturing. Which element stands out for you? Authentic, curious, truthful, inspiring, open, nurturing.
I would choose nurturing because in my practice, I practice from the two nurse coach theories, the theory of the integrative nurse coaching, and the self-care deficit theory. I definitely resonate with the importance of self-care, and nurturing yourself definitely is a great aspect of healing. So I would definitely say nurturing.
I love it. Thank you so much for being a guest on the Integrative Nurse Coaches in Action podcast, Christie. You've shared so much for us to contemplate, to think about, so many nuggets of wisdom. We're very grateful that you chose to spend time with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. This was totally a great experience, and I'm very excited just to be a part of this.
Yes. We'll for sure be sharing links on how you can connect with Christie. Christie, tell us the name of your business.
It's Christie L Holistic Healing Center.
And then you're also creating a community, you said?
Yes, it is on the Mighty Network platform. You can actually download an app where it's easier to get to, and it'll send you notifications if you would like, where it's a community similar to like a Facebook group. It's specifically tailored to health and wellness, so you don't get distracted while you're scrolling your feed.
Yeah.
That's where we have all of our, like if we have a workshop, a seminar, that's the platform where we do the coaching and have all of the resources. It is under Dream Life Virtual Wellness Center. If you download the app, you can look up Dream Life Virtual Wellness Center.
All right. And we will for sure be sharing the links into the show notes of how people can contact you and find you and all the great things that you're doing for your community. And again, we thank you so much for being here, Christie.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed it.